Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ramjana Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ramjana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Nitai Patita Bhavana Gaura Hari Jaya Nitai Patita Bhavana Gaura Hari Jaya Nitai Patita Bhavana Gaura Hari Jai Jai Prabhupada ये ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य कष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। ये ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य कष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभु महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। All Guru Sambhulyo, all Guru Sambhulyo, all Guru Sambhulyo, all Guru Sambhulyo, Sri Guru and Sri Prabhupada की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 28, text number 3. Three. Gramya dharma nivrittascha moksha dharma radhistata mitame dhyanam shaswat mitame dhyanam shaswat vivigda kshema sevanam Vivikta Sevanam Gramya Dharma Nivrittascha Moksha Dharma Ratistata Mitamedya Dhanam Shaswat Mitamedya Dhanam Shaswat Vivikta Kshema Sevanam Gramya Dharma Nivrittascha Moksha Dharma Ratistata Mitamedya Dhanam Shaswat Vivikta Kshema Sevanam.
Gramya dharma nivrittascha
Moksha Dharma Ratistata Itametyadanam Shasva Gramya Dharma Nivrittasya Moksha Dharma Itametyadanam Shasva Hare Krishna. So, translation purport by His Holiness A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. One should cease performing the conventional religious practices and should be attracted to those which lead to salvation. One should eat frugally and should always remain secluded so that they can achieve the highest perfection of life. I repeat the translation. One should cease performing conventional religious practices, should be attracted to those which lead to salvation. One should eat very frugally and should always remain secluded so that he can achieve the highest perfection of life. Purport. It is recommended herein that religious practice for economic development or the satisfaction of the sense desires should be avoided. Religious practices should be executed only to gain freedom from the clutches of material nature. It is stated in beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam that the topmost religious practice is that by which one can attain to the transcendental devotional service to the Lord without reason or cause. Such religious practice is never hampered by impediments, and by its performance, one actually becomes satisfied. Here, this is recommended as moksha dharma, religious practice for salvation or transcendence of clutches of metal contamination. Generally, people execute religious practices for economic development or sense gratification, but this is not recommended for one who wants to advance in yoga. The next important phase of mithamedhyadanam, which means the one should eat very frugally. It is recommended that in the Vedic literature that a yogi eat only half what he desire according to his hunger. If one is so hungry that he could devour 1 pound of foodstuff, then he should eat 1 pound. Then instead of eating 1 pound, he should consume only half a pound and supplement this with 4 ounces of water. One fourth of stomach should be left empty for passage of air in stomach. If one eats in this manner, he will avoid indigestion and disease. The yogi should eat in this way as recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam and all other standard scriptures. The yogi should live in a secluded place and where his yoga practice will not be disturbed. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Kirim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Guru Andinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So this is a very wonderful words, and it says directly, but especially so I should not say all those things. Okay.
What did you say? Not?
No, nothing. So especially for somebody who is in household life, like it is very difficult to take this because what happened, like I recently went to one university for preaching program. So they invited us. We didn't go approach first of all. They only said, "Oh, we can do it." So we went there and did like some introductory session. And the second session itself, you're not this body or spirit soul. And I should see the expression of the person who invited for that class. And he was so depressed actually. And later on, when we come to the solving the real problems of life, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Then they said, Prabhuji, you cannot take it anymore. So they literally got depressed hearing that. So that's why I'm a little hesitant to speak. That's why I'm very careful from that time onwards, what to speak and how to speak and whom to speak. So these words is not like I said, one should cease performing the conventional religious practices. If you see the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam itself says, Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmasaranam sadam vedyam vasamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayo anmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamani Prate Kim va parereshwara sadhyo ruddhavarudyate prithvi sushrishtu vistakshanat. So if you see, Vyasadeva himself is saying, Dharma projita kaitavatra param means like reject all the cheating religions. Like he is the author of, like he is the one who actually put all the Vedas, all the Puranas into the scripting. Okay, so he is the one who gave all the Vedic literature to us, and now Vyasadeva is saying, I am writing this literature in the maturity of my life. So of course, Vyasadeva doesn't have like limited lifespan like us. Instead, it is said that Vyasadeva is still living. So it's saying, I'm writing this Srimad Bhagavatam in the maturity. Means, so we know the story how he got depressed after writing all the Vedas and Puranas. And finally, Srimad Narada Muni has to come and instruct Vyasadeva to write exclusively one scripture which will glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. And after writing Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva was pacified. So now one may say, okay, if I have to reject all the dharmas, then why did actually Lord gave us in the first place? He has the Vedas and the Puran, Chatur Vedas, and then different Upanishads and Puranas, right? So, and why did Lord give all these rules and regulations? He said, okay, you perform only devotional service, like that, right? So, yes, that is true, because the Vedas are given in the beginning of creation. In the beginning of creation means in the Satya Yuga, means where the lifespan is 100,000 years. So the purpose of Vedas is to gradually, the reason why that living entity came into this material existence is to enjoy independent of the Lord. And Lord says, okay, you can enjoy, but at the same time, you follow these regulations so that you will gradually progress, and finally come to the realization that there is no happiness in this material world, and then finally comes back to me. So 100,000 years is a good amount of time, because if you see now, whatever we think as happiness, like when you are like very young, like a child, the happiness is in like toffees, or playing bicycles or something like that. Little grows up, he goes for some different sense gratification. So after he grows up a little bit, it comes teenage, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then a little bit more, enter into family life, and then accumulating properties. So as the maturity increases, his taste for even the material things is also progressing. So the way that's why Vedas give even see they the living entities in Satya, they used to 100,000 years, and they used to get renunciation even after 100 years only, within 100 years only. 100 or 100, the progression, the same the way, the teenage is same as, but after 100 years, they used to remain as adults for so long. So, and that kind of person, they used to renounce everything, and then they used to go to forest and they used to do meditation, and they used to be very content and happy in the process of meditation. So that's why in the Satya is the meditation is the bona fide process, because Dhruva Maharaj belongs to Satya Yuga. He chanted Om Namo Bhagavate was there for 6 months, and he got the realization of Krishna. He got darshan of Krishna directly. Means even though the process, that the Sankirtan process worked that time also, but since that they had long lifespan, they used to know, okay, we want to taste every aspect of this spiritual process. We want to enjoy the travel also, journey also. That's why they used to take up this process. Okay. But in the beginning of Kali Yuga happened, like now, as they were, like when Srimad Bhagavatam was written, the Kali Yuga is about, it started, just started in that time. Parikshit Maharaj and all those things. Kali Yuga has just entered, like that. And that time onwards, we know that people don't have much of lifespan. They hardly have 100 years. And in that 100 years, this kind of renunciation develop, gradual renunciation is not possible at all. So forget everything, but like the Jai Shri Radha Gopi and all of that. So forget this gradual process, directly come to the conclusion that Bhakti Yoga is the all in all. That's why if you see Vedic, it is stressed now, Sankirtan and coming to Bhakti Yoga process is given very much high importance in this age. If somebody says, I'll teach you Ashtanga Yoga, through this Ashtanga Yoga, you'll achieve self-realization, means he's cheating. Straight. He may see some kind of siddhi, some kind of peace of mind, some kind of change in their consciousness internally, but they cannot achieve perfection in the Kali Yuga. But if somebody has achieved perfection, means they have been continuing from many lifetimes performing that path. So only process that works in the age of Kali Yuga is Bhakti Yoga process and Sankirtan. How much time it takes to achieve perfection in the process of Bhakti Yoga? No, but Parikshit Maharaj asked to Sukadeva Goswami, I only have 7 days. What can you do now? And Sukadeva Goswami says, you are asking for 7. You have 7 days. It takes one moment. Maharaj Katwanga had one moment. He immediately left everything, and he asked demigods to transfer him to the earthly planet. So on the journey itself, half moment is over. And after coming here, in half a moment, he surrendered to Krishna and he attained perfection. You have 7 days. Don't worry. Like that, he says. So in the same way, we can also achieve ultimate perfection just by surrendering to Krishna. So the process of surrendering to Krishna is called real dharma. So that's why, what is Kaitava dharma? Kaitava dharma is, dharma means, which actually the Prabhupada writes at Prabhupada writes in one of the purports, like the real religion, what the difference between the animals and humans is dharma, the religious principles. And real religion starts when one comes to Krishna consciousness. So means, see, whatever like materialist doing outside, the so-called dharmic person will do in a spiritual way. But that is not the goal. He has not reached the goal yet. He is still in the process, because when he takes shelter of demigods, when he takes Vedic process, then he will gradually progress towards Krishna consciousness, and one day he will attain the perfection of becoming surrendering unto Krishna. So until that point of time, he is following the intermediary dharmas, dharma of Putra dharma, Pitru dharma, all those dharmas, and then Kshatriya dharma, Brahmana dharma. So all those paths that will lead to some kind of spiritual progress, but it will not to the ultimate success. So now in this words, Prabhupada writes, self-realization is the man's eternal relationship with God. Our human form of life should focus. The focus of human form of life should be on attaining self-realization. What is self-realization? Means re-establishing the last connection with Krishna. First of all, to know that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul. As soon as we say that you are not this body, you are spirit soul, means indirectly you are saying that all the body relations are temporary. All the body relations are not, because when you are not this body, everything that we associate with is connected to our body. Family, position, fame, name, wealth, everything are connected with the body. As soon as we come to the relation, we are not this body, we are spirit soul. means everything that related to is asat. And but when we come to okay, if I cannot take shelter in this material world, if I am a spirit soul, uh, where is my connection? What is my identity? And then the real identity is our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. That is second level of self-realization. So that's why like our acharyas and our Vedic scriptures mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also, right? Yuktahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmashu, yukta swapna bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhada. Means somebody who regulates this process of self in the spiritual process. They are very conscious of their yukta ahara vihara, means what they eat, what they associate, and what they do. They have the regulation in them, and then that kind of person is fit to become a yogi, and that kind of yoga will eradicate all the dukkhas. All the dukkhas in the sense, like when you started doing yoga, it doesn't relieve your financial problems, all those things. It is the directed. It is medicine for putting full stop for all the miseries for all the time, for the good to come. Means like for good. Means it is giving, it is directing towards the ultimate solution of the human form of life. Ultimate perfection of human form of life is to realize self and or make connection with Krishna and then go back to Godhead. So that's why it is said that not a stable, like for this, one should have a stable sadhana. Sadhana means one should have, like now see, our spiritual life is directly implicated to our sadhana. Like our sadhana and seva. So our sadhana refers to the way, like now, what is the difference between sadhana and seva? Seva might be like one may develop some kind of ego, some kind of, like, okay, I did this, I can only do this. That kind of conceptions one may develop in the other process, in the swadhyaya and seva and all those things. But when it comes to sadhana, you have to take humble position. You have to, why we are doing sadhana? We are doing sadhana to please Krishna. We are chanting, we are doing kirtan for the pleasure of Krishna. One should not think that is for like as a part of is like, that's why it said that dedicate your morning time for your sadhana and dedicate your whole day for your seva. So seva means like with respect to brahmachari, they have different service. With respect to grihastha, they have different service. Different persons in varnashram dharma have different duties to perform. So that all duties can be performed in Krishna conscious way. But that alone will not lead to the perfection. Like perfect sadhana is the key to the success in spiritual life. Because sadhana is like like your even though Prabhupada right now we have to do everything in Krishna conscious way, that also makes us progress. That's why Prabhupada says our 90% of our success, 99% of our success is based on our sadhana and chanting, how we chant. So that's why like in India they maintain sadhana cards. Sadhana card means what time you started your rounds, how you chanted, and how much you are reading, and how much service you are doing. They maintain a sadhana card, and it is said that when your sadhana card indicates stability, means your spiritual life is stable. When your sadhana card is indicates, oh, want to, like, I was only able to chant 2 rounds in the morning and 4 rounds in the afternoon, and means I remaining 10 rounds in the night, means that's not very stable. Or reading or service, everything has to be stable. Means like it has to be routine. So a yogi should always follow routine principles. Not like it's not like one time you sleep at 10 o'clock, one time you sleep at 12 o'clock. It's not like that. You have a stable lifestyle. Okay, this is my sleeping time, this is my chanting time. Then only he can go deeper into the sadhana. Otherwise, if he actually very irregular, means whatever, eating different timings, sleeping different timings, and waking up different timings, then his body and mind will take time to get adjusted to the situation only. Then he cannot focus on the sadhana. He cannot focus on the mantra. He cannot focus on reading. So that's why the routine should be followed. Okay, this time is for my this survey. This time is for my sadhana, like that. When we have the dedication, then only over a period of time we can go deeper into whatever he is doing. Otherwise, his sadhana and seva will be very shallow. Means like he won't go deeper into the process of hearing, process of chanting, all those things. So, but for somebody who is actually not very dedicated, not very self-control, not focusing, but only attached to the sense gratification, for that he cannot even start the spiritual life. The process of spiritual life is like Krishna says, right? Bhogeshwarya prasadhanam tvaya pahrita chesvam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhav na vidiyate. Means somebody who is attached to bhoga and aishwarya, somebody who is attached to focus on sense gratification and accumulating materialistic wealth. For them, this samadhi will not take place. Samadhi is a place where, like with the dedicated sadhana, dedicated seva, over a period of time, he will purify his consciousness, and his consciousness becomes so perfect, and he will reach the stage of samadhi. Samadhi, Prabhupada also right. It's not like samadhi means only if you see the Mayavadis, they have the samadhi means somebody who is actually sitting without any external consciousness. But for a Krishna conscious person, samadhi means everything you do is Krishna conscious. Means like everything he is, if he is thinking that one time Prabhupada was taking a walk in the morning time, and he suddenly stopped at a building, and he started gazing at that building for quite some time. And all his disciples were wondering why Prabhupada is looking at this building. It is a materialistic building. And after some time, another nice building came. That time Brahmanand Prabhu was there with him. And he said to Prabhupada, you see this building also very good, right? Is it like Brahmanand Prabhu thought Prabhupada was relishing that the architecture and beauty of that building. And after going some time, there's a more beautiful building. And immediately Brahmanand Prabhu said, Prabhupada, this building is also beautiful, right? He said. Immediately Prabhupada said, what beauty is there? What will you do in that? Only sleeping, mating, defending all these animalistic propensities only. Then they got bewildered. Then Prabhupada, why you are looking at that building so keenly, and why you are not condemning on this building? No, I was thinking that building is suitable for temple. No, they have nice structure, nice architecture. How one can engage. I was thinking how to, if you can get that building, it can be good for the temple, good for Sankirtan, all those things. Means after some time, after going for some time, Prabhupada saw a bus, and then he said, okay, how much does bus cost? How can we get that kind of bus? He was asking. So his consciousness again, he says, I wanted to engage with the Sankirtan party, like that. So means a devotee, just like a businessman, when he sees, when he goes to a different place, a business person will think how he can make money using different, okay, I can sell this, I can buy this, or these are cheap here, like that. They think the same way a devotee, as soon as he sees something, he says immediately, how can I engage this person? How can I engage this facility? How can I engage this property in the service of Krishna? That is samadhi. Samadhi means fully being Krishna, observing Krishna conscious and his service. First of all, sadhana should be very fixed up sadhana. And then seva, when it comes to seva, with full dedication, with full heart and with full consciousness, one should perform his seva in a Krishna conscious way. Then that will lead to ultimate more and more Krishna consciousness. So of course, even the person who just entering into the temple is also Krishna conscious, but a person who is actually practicing for many years with proper sadhana, proper reading and proper seva, he is also Krishna conscious. But the only thing is the depth of Krishna consciousness differs. He is superficially Krishna conscious, but the person who has been doing for many years, his Krishna consciousness is in different level. Okay, so and so for one to achieve this process of spiritual leading spiritual life, one should one should always meditate, that one should have proper consciousness what is permanent and what is temporary. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to say, only two things in this material world are permanent: Jiva and the holy name. Rest all are temporary and insignificant or irrelevant. So we should only focus on the soul, not the body. Like one may do welfare activity for many people in many ways, but what is the ultimate welfare activity is to impart the spiritual knowledge and train him, help others in starting their spiritual life. That is ultimate, because they are focusing not on the body but on the soul. Even when the kids kids camp is happening, right? When the kids they are coming, when we train the bhajans, when we train the kirtan, that impressions will stay with them. Even after they grow up, they go into they become adults, they become teenagers, they then become adults. They may forget in the middle everything, but at one point of time, that this impression will remain in their consciousness for so long, like they will they will correlate with everything. Oh, in childhood I used to do, I can remember in the kirtan I used to dance like that. Then the next time when they want to approach Krishna, they'll be like going back home. That impression will help that way. This is a responsibility of every parent to train their children in such a way, because after they grow up a little bit, they are not going to obey the parents, they are not going to, they are go on their own way. So in the same way, that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, right, our welfare activities should be toward the soul, because when we invest on something temporary, it is coming and going. It is said in a famous statement, what is the most changeless thing in this material world is change. Except change, everything means everything is changing, constantly changing. Our body is changing, our families are changing, our financial position is changing, health, wealth, everything is changing. So what is the only changeless thing is change in the material world. Change in the material world is only permanent thing. So that's why you should remember thing, and we should only should be fully conscious of what is permanent and what is temporary. On the other hand, something spiritual is always permanent. Even if you chant holy name of Krishna once, that is a permanent credit to us. So, like anything that you do in spiritual service, assisting Guru and Krishna, is permanent credit that will lead to the ultimate perfection. So, so that's why a sadhaka should always try to control his senses and mind through his proper sadhana, and then focus on rendering devotional service with full dedication. That way, he will attain ultimate perfection. Then, okay. And it here, if you have any questions or comments, you can take now. Anything to say about this?
Thank you for the class. I didn't know about like in Satya Yuga, human beings are going to, like, they will develop according to Kali Yuga, they would reach the adulthood like 25 years or something. Then the rest of the 99,975 years, you would be in the adulthood or adult, like more than 25 years of age. Is this documented anywhere? Is it like, what is the source?
If you see, based on the scriptures, Prabhu, like Dhruva Maharaj was 5 years old. When he was 16 years old, he was young. And he was coronated when he was like around 16 years old, because his father went for doing tapasya to the forest. So means he became adult only by 16, right? So like growth in that age is also like that. But there is that's what I can say.
Because in Kali Yuga description, in I think it's 11th canto or somewhere, it is stated that in the last stages of Kali Yuga, the
maximum age lifespan will be 16, 12 years.
yeah, and the tallest man would be like he would be able like the little plant will be even bigger than the so size will continue to decrease of the
Decrease,
human being. That's what something like
Yeah,
that.
like
So similarly, is it the height of the human beings are also different in Satya Yuga?
yeah, everything is different there. See, it says right, the lifespan, the body strength, and the mental power, ability to
They
memorize.
no need to write, right? Shrutidhar, they will
Hmm.
be just able to hear and
What is the
remember.
shloka? Ayur Harati Vaibham. Some no, not that one. In Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Mate Manda Bhakya Prabhupada Prayanal Bhaya Sabya Karavasti Naivajana Manda Sumanda Mate Bhakya means Praya, the lifespan is very short. Alpayu, very Manda means they don't have, they are not intelligent. Sumanda Mati, they are foolish also. So the physical strength also diminishes. If you see that now, like you are not what to speak of Kaliga, or like you cannot. If you go and see in a museum, you will have that swords. They are like 100 kg swords. We cannot lift with two hands. We cannot lift 100 kg sword. They used to just use that sword to fight with one hand. Like not this like 100 years also 100 or 150 years back on 200 years back. So if the 200 years back that personality have that kind of strength, what to speak of Satyayuga people? Now, like you see that Balramji's episode of getting married to Revati. Revati was so big because he's from Satyayuga. So Balramji had to pull her down, or like make her short to match his height. So like that, everything is diminishing, but like no, but the fact, like no, they grow up within this many years. That's remain the same. So after reaching this, like no, it is like no, it is not stated directly, but we can understand, right? Like based on scriptures.
It makes more logical.
Even Prahlad Maharaj also, within 5 years, he became little adult, he became king and all those things.
I never realized how would it be like the lifespan and the growing of the living entities or human being. But after you explaining, it makes more sense now that this is how the life would progress.
But if one say very discreetly, one realize how can a person live for 100,000 years?
Yeah.
That is impractical. It means like if he's going to live for 100,000 years, like no, he can his children, his grandchildren, his grandchildren, so many, because that if they are going to get married and get beget children early ages, so it's like whole generations will be there. And but the land is not increasing, the foodstuff is growth may not change so quickly. It is hard to even imagine also.
What you explained, right? After 100 years only, they will realize that there is nothing more left.
So
they would take up to spirituality and the meditation.
But then the forest will be full of people, no? After so it's not like that. But I heard some other source, like if you live in a dharmic way, like even one day will count to 1 year. Means that way their lifespan will be so big. Now, if they like somebody was justifying Lord Rama's lifespan of 11,000 years, he wrote for 11,000 years, somebody like that. So how can somebody say 11,000 years like this kind of numbers? Then this person said, if you lead a very dharmic way, 1 day of very dharmic lifespan will implies 1 year in the material sense. So that's why he said like that way, like Ram lived. Even if you live 100 years, then it will implies like that. But we follow Acharyas, but it doesn't matter for us. But we just take the essence from there and try that.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody have anything to say? Hare Krishna online. Anybody have any questions? or comments? Would you like to add anything? Would you like to add anything? Okay, Lenitier Gantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I think that